Hey, Tom.
Hello, Lee. Hello, Gwen.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Oh, I tell you, it's been one hell of about a week. I'm officially in Cleveland, Ohio.
All
I'm
right.
coming to you, everybody out there, live from Lake Erie. I'm actually in Lake Erie. I tell you, that's how close I am to it. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I'm trying to figure the whole thing out. It's just temporary. My furniture hasn't come yet. I'm just sitting on a bed with there's a little, part I could put stuff on. So I'm just sitting on a bed doing the podcast right now with a cool little blue light behind me. So it looks kind of spooky and serial killerish.
Yeah.
So we're ready for the show. But yeah, I'm happy, but I'm tired.
Good. Well, not that you're tired, but I'm
Yeah,
glad
but
you're happy.
I'm here to give information on Herbert Mullins with all you guys tonight, and let's see how this one goes because this guy will shake you up.
There's the hashtag already. There it is.
Oh my
My
goodness.
dad joke of the night. Oh my Lord! But how's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Sick, so I sound a little bit funky, but hey, had a great weekend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You up.
That's so funny. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Miss Raven,
Oh.
hey, sweetheart.
Her
Well,
show starts tonight. So.
Yep, 9:30 p.m. Anybody watching, make sure you follow us and watch her show because we're all going to be watching ourselves. So make sure.
It's her first one. So welcome,
Yeah.
Raven. Welcome.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So I can't wait. And so what do you got on our buddy there, Herbert Mullins? So for Spooktober, remember we got a lot of stuff going on this month. A little off what we usually do, so it's going to be really fun the rest of the month here. So starting with Mr. Mullin here.
We're kicking off Spooktober. Okay,
Yeah.
This is Spooktober shows. October's our jam, and this creepy guy is he's officially the weirdest. All of the guys we cover is weird. Okay, we have to just go ahead and say OMG. Every one
Yeah.
of these guys are women, men, all of these killers are weird, or something has happened to them to make them super weird. But this
Mhm.
dude, okay, he was dubbed the earthquake killer or the earthquake murderer because of his delusional belief that murders would prevent earthquakes. Okay. All right. So he was a paranoid schizophrenic. He had auditory hallucinations, and he believed that violent acts were necessary to appease Earth and to prevent catastrophic earthquakes. And his logic was that society needed sacrifices for human lives to restore balance. Okay. So he was almost born on April Fool's Day, which would have made sense.
Mhm.
And he missed it just by a little bit. And he killed 13 people
Yeah.
in California. Crazy AF.
Yeah.
Man, we've met some weirdos, but this one's weird. Really, really weird.
I don't understand how he thought that would. I don't know.
I mean, are we a bunch of, we don't sacrifice people. This is what the hell?
Yeah.
Come on, we're
Yeah.
not. Okay, so here he is, Robert Mullin, the earthquake prophet.
Yeah.
And this is the 70s. Okay, so besides being a little cray-cray, he
Oh,
probably
yeah.
has a little bit of going on, maybe a little bit more than that, right? He's
Well,
probably
no, what he actually was doing is a little bit of the LSD and a little bit of the ganja, pot, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, which was big back in the 70s. But it
yes,
doesn't help that you were told you were paranoid schizophrenic at a young age. And in your 20s, you were in and out of 5 different mental institutions before all the killing started, which was between 73 and 74. But a lot of people don't know when he grew up, everybody thinks, oh, yeah, they went through this, went through that. His father wasn't abusive. His father was strict. He had a strict upbringing to the point when he was up to the age of 16, he was voted most likely to succeed in his class. So this is before the schizophrenia really kicked in and he became more of the paranoid schizophrenic. It really was going downhill. And then he had a death of his friend named Dean Richardson, who died in a car accident, and he went really overboard. I mean, he was putting shrines up in his room for this person. It just got really, really nuts. Everything started going downhill. But between that time, just before the murders and as he's growing up, we're knee deep in the Vietnam War. So in that late time, and that's when the delusions really started. He thought his father was telepathically telling him that he needed to kill. And the reason being was all these people in Vietnam at the time, there were so many people of our people were dying that he felt there was enough bloodshed that would hold back the earthquakes that he started thinking were going to happen, or the pollution. People were polluted. He felt like people were causing problems with the environment. That's why he had to kill them. So when the Vietnam War was starting to finally waning down, he was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to kill now if people aren't dying over in Vietnam. So I have to start killing. And his father was supposedly telling him telepathically he had to kill now. So he's out starting to kill. And he knew if I don't kill, these polluted people, then a massive earthquake is going to happen. And that was his vision. So just so you guys remember, there's different reasons serial killers, hedonistic, different types of things, but he was a visionary, which is voices telling you to do things and all that. Very similar, the father, doing telepathically, even though I think he was still alive. And just like the guy we talked about last week, who said he had a vision of his father tell him he had to kill the 72 women and drink their saliva. It's very similar. They're both like visionary killers that we've had for these 2 weeks in a row, with that father telling them, which tells me, there's a lot of like that father issue, that patriarch side of their family with some of these people to get those visions and all that. Even though they say his father was not abusive, but that strictness that goes off in your head, especially if you develop schizophrenia, that you pinpoint in on a father figure like that for what he was getting vision wise, which made it pretty crazy. So hard to really pinpoint, this guy. He went from people loving him, being popular, being most likely to succeed, and then the illness takes over. And, when different things in the environment hit you and that paranoia kicks in and your mind can't control it. These are the things that happen to these people, especially if they're not medicated right. Because this guy sounds like they might have medicated him, but off the medication to be in and out of a mental institution 5 separate times.
Yeah.
Without being able to get him on a right path tells me that there's a lot more to this than what we're reading or what we've been able to research.
Well, I want to show you guys this picture real quick. Hold on. I'm downloading another one because this is reminiscent. That's a hard one. Reminiscent. Okay, first, there he is. Bless his little heart. Now, he's cute in an odd way, kind of a mousy way. But, you could see him at concerts in the 70s. I bet he had a little guitar. Probably had a lot of girlfriends, I mean, he's doing all right. Probably drove a little van or some kind, he was cool. Look now, on the left, he looks like a little bit of Bundy there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his legal documents and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're looking over here to the right, and it's Charles Manson. I mean,
Oof.
Yeah.
did he feel like he needed to look crazy, or did the crazy just what was within came out? Is what I'm thinking.
Well, that too, and prison will do that to you, especially considering, at the time that he was doing his killings in California, the reason why it was hard to capture him at first and all that, he didn't really possess a strict MO, like, what he was doing. He was just randomly killing people because, the voices were telling him to at this moment. Different ages, different ways of killing them, to, choking them out, to shooting them, whatever. Nothing really made sense. But sometimes some of it lined up with another serial killer at the same time in California.
Yes.
Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer.
Big Ed.
So,
Ooh, Big Ed.
And they're thinking because of Herbert Mullin and his craziness and all over the place, that kept people or the police being able to capture Edmund Kemper or this guy at the same time, because it just wasn't meshing and they couldn't pinpoint in, and that's a big thing. But as we talk, yeah, they were going out at the same time, but later on, I'll tell you what really transpired that kind of made me giggle. But we'll talk about how they've intertwined later on in the scenario here that we're talking about tonight.
So,
stay tuned.
Yeah, geez, Louise. So I was looking at how he was captured. Okay, the last person that he killed. Here, let me show you. Let me show you what I'm looking at here, because hold on, it's loading. I'm trying to leave all the references in there, so as people go back through and watch the video, you could go to these places and find them and look it up for yourself. For yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the banner off for just a second so that we can see that a little better. Okay, so he was born August the 18th, and he was completely obsessed with that because it coincided with the infamous 1906 San Francisco earthquake.
Yeah.
That correlation strengthened his delusion.
Huh?
His tie between death and the seismic events that were happening. And because of those beliefs, he felt like people needed to be sacrificed to keep it from happening again. Okay, I'm going to put this back on. The banner needs to go back on because this is crazy stuff. All right. So I didn't think about it. I was saying April Fool's, because he was close to the first. But no, it was something altogether different. Now, this one really upsets me. This man was a World War I veteran. Okay, we're talking like the trench war, right?
Yeah.
And he was living in Santa Cruz, California. He was a 72-year-old man. He was working quietly in his driveway. He was either gardening or checking his trash can or whatever. And remember, I didn't see this part. I was just doing a copy paste. And I said he had a little van wagon, something like that. And here he is driving a 1959 station wagon,
Huh.
pulls out a rifle and shot Perez through the heart.
Hmm.
Okay. So the victim's neighbor saw the whole thing and reported Mullin's car speeding away. There were
Yeah.
several neighbors that saw what happened. Okay, so he's not trying to, he doesn't, now he's acting a bit like Berkowitz. He doesn't care who sees him.
Yeah.
He's just going up and bang.
Yeah.
So,
But he had quite a few crazy murders. One of them was he got to the point where he wanted to confess. You know, he stopped thinking, well, maybe the stuff that telepathically is coming from my father isn't right. So he started questioning his delusions. So he goes to a church and goes to a confession, and I think it's I forget names here. Father.
Henry Tomei.
Yeah, Henry Tomei. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he confesses to him, and then as the confession's done, he gets this. All of a sudden, he gets this delusion that, you know, the father says, "I'll sacrifice myself for you," and all that. So they come out of the pulp thing there, and he stabs him to death right there. So at the
my
church.
God.
So but that's one of them, which was crazy. But the other one, he was out hiking or whatever, and come across these 4 teenagers and got to talking to him and all that. And he pretended he was a park ranger and, you know, saying this and saying that. So he found out where they were camping, come back the next day and just shot him. Just, you know, it's crazy, you know, with a paranoid schizophrenic. But then again, you know, you have your delusions. Are they delusions at all times, or are you, you know, doing things purposely, or what it is? It's just you never could pinpoint it, to the point where after he was captured, they went to court. They said he could face trial. He wasn't crazy. It was premeditated, according to them, and whoever interviewed him before trial. So that says a lot too. You know, are they just want to put this guy away? Are they just saying what they wanted to say? Or you second guess yourself sometimes on how people interpret somebody's psychosis, whether it be ready for trial or whether that. But I think the best person that interpreted it, again, I'll get to that one later on. Make sure you stand by. So good stuff coming. So we'll keep you guys all watching. Give you the old cliffhanger
All
for
right.
the end of the show.
So I've got stuff downloaded here. Let me make sure I'm not doing two of the same thing. Here we go. All right. So here's a list of the murders. Nope, that's the list of the murders. This is the list.
There
Okay.
you go.
We have Whitney White, 55. And Mullin lured him. I know it says Whitney, but it's a dude. Anyway, lured the guy under pretense of car trouble and beat the man with a baseball bat. Then, so it goes from a man to a Mary Margaret, and I'm not going to say that name because I'm going to screw it up. Stabbed in a vehicle and then later disemboweled. So Mullin could examine pollution claims.
Yep.
What in the world? Father Tomei, Mullin attacked him inside a church confessional, which you talked about. He stabbed and beat him.
Yep.
Now we've got Jim and Joan Ganera, Kathy and Damon Francis, David Hughes. Okay. In one single spree, multiple members of 2 families, including 2 children, were shot and or stabbed. And then Fred Perez, that's our World War I veteran that was killed in his yard, in his driveway.
But all that to, again, he felt the people were holding in pollution. It was because of people. And instead of just the environment, it was more looking at the people as the pollution. and holding back by killing them, holding back the pollution, but also holding back the catastrophic earthquake. Again, like we talked about on his birthday, the anniversary of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake that was quite large. So these are the delusions, the things that are told to people, the things that you hold on to. And just us, even with anxiety sometimes is almost like that. You think about something too much and your mind gets away from you, and then it becomes an obsession, that compulsion or anything like that. Yeah, we're not all paranoid schizophrenics, but you could create that by overthinking and letting things get out of control. This guy just didn't have a shut-off switch, so it just went and went and went, and then he felt like he had to do these things to satisfy that urge that the voices were telling him what to do. So crazy stuff.
Well, you're right. He believed that he was telepathic. He believed that, well, he was told at a young age that he had a mental disorder of several types. And like you said, he believed that the war was actually preventing more earthquakes. So he made this stuff up as he went. He just made it up as he went. This is what he thought. Again, I was talking about Charles Manson. He was thinking he was right. He Helter Skelter was going to come down and he was going to aid that along. And he just felt like he needed to just do what he wanted to do. At least this guy wasn't influential over people.
Yeah.
He was crazy all on his own. But it also says in his profile that he framed killings as sacrifices. So he believed that he was doing very similar to Charles Manson, that he was staging this to look like it was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it would prevent him from being caught as well. And I think that's probably what created the, he wasn't crazy thought that he should be tried as sane.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into this guy. Just all those things, how they flow, and as we're talking about it, again, we go back to his youth. Most likely to succeed, and then it just went off the rails. How do we help our youth? When do we really know that that's going on? Is it a family history? Is it genetically predisposed to have these kinds of things? What is the upbringing? What's the environment? How do we protect kids from this that tend to go that way? And again, if it's not preventable, how do we keep people the right frame of mind or the right medication? Because in this situation, there's not anything you could do other than get them on the right medication to see what works to bring that psychosis down. Like we said, it's just like anxiety. You let it get away from you. But he didn't have the ability to talk himself out of it like, most people do. You do have anxiety, you get that feel and let things get away from you. But most of the time we're able to quell it in a way. Yeah, but I tell you, this guy gets arrested and off to prison, and the trial and all that, and he's found guilty, and I think it's 10 murders. I think they convicted him of, if I'm not mistaken. So,
I had it up here.
yeah,
What's that now?
I
How
think it
many
was
murders?
10 murders. I think between 72 and 7. He was only killing for like 4 months before he got caught. So, only 4 months. Yeah, as I say it, but still.
He was doing a lot at one time, though.
Yeah. So a couple of them are clusters and all that. But
Yeah.
still, even with a cluster here and there, it's, again, just everybody watching knows that, the definition to be considered a serial killer is 3 kills with a rest in between. So even with a couple of the groups that he mass killed, still 3 plus. So.
All right. So it says that he graduated in 65.
Mm-hmm.
His friend died in a car accident. He became obsessed with the loss. He was building shrines. He was fixated on reincarnation, and he believed he could communicate with the dead. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him in, because it seemed like a natural transition from the guy we talked about last week. And also the fact that he himself also thought that he was a psychic medium.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to add LSD and cannabis and other drugs, according to this profile, other drugs in his late teens, early 20s that exacerbated his latent psychotic tendencies.
Mhm.
He voluntarily committed himself into a psychiatric hospital at various times, and he stayed for short periods of time, however. Now, he did that himself, okay, and he was there until his early 20s.
Yeah.
Then his family backgrounds, there's claims that his parents engaged in, now what, explain this, killjoy reincarnationalist beliefs. And they had threatened or discouraged others from playing with him, that they may have been part of his delusional narrative than objective fact. Now, please explain, what does that mean? I'm struggling with that.
Read
What's
it
that?
again, if you don't mind.
Family background claims in their testimony. So this is his testimony in
Okay.
trial.
Yeah.
Okay. That his parents engaged in killjoy reincarnationalists. So reincarnationalists. So they believed in reincarnation like he did.
Mhm.
Okay. And he said they were reincarnationalists, and they had threatened or discouraged other people, other children, from playing with him because they were concerned that he would think that they were part of a delusion of his past or something.
Oh.
And I don't know what that means, okay? But there it is. And then over time, he started hearing voices, and he had a die song that it would start playing in his head. And he became more central to world views and cosmic warnings. So, yeah.
I wonder if they thought they controlled who he came back, who his.
That's a good.
Sorry, I'm gonna get it out in a minute. Maybe they thought they controlled who he was, had brought somebody else back in his body. Does that make sense? Am I saying
Yeah.
it right?
Well, yeah, what you're trying to say is they didn't want him talking with other children. The reason being is they felt like if he talked to other children, had those influences, he would forget who he reincarnated from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like to me.
All right.
I'm not really
I wonder who he was supposed
familiar
to
with that
be
because it
before.
doesn't seem to happen that often that I've heard about. So
I'm going to ask AI. I'm also looking online.
yeah,
I'm
That's
just going to
weird.
copy and paste it in there.
Right.
I was thinking maybe they knew he was delusional, and they were just trying to keep other kids away from him so, he wouldn't make a mess of himself. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there was the family history they already knew about. So
Oh, true.
yeah.
But his friend dying must have kicked
Oh,
it off. There's always an
okay.
event. Well, most of the time an event.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what it says.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Can you
there
see
you
me
are.
okay? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I put my hand right on the camera. Okay, so this states, this was his word. Okay, his wording, which is why it's so convoluted for us. Okay. During his interviews and legal proceedings, he said that this is not a religion or known belief system. It is something that he invented while he was trying to explain his paranoid view of the world, and he was blaming it on his parents. And he said he believed that certain people, including his parents, practice killjoy reincarnationalism, a term that he used to describe people who supposedly interfered with the cycle of reincarnation or prevented joy or spiritual progress to a psychic medium, or used telepathy or psychic power to control others or suppress him.
Okay.
Okay,
That's a mouthful.
yeah. So
Yes, he did.
essentially, he thought there were invisible forces or groups of people that could manipulate life, death, and reincarnation, and they had targeted him to prevent him from fulfilling his cosmic duty.
Okay, I've heard something like that before. I didn't know it was referred to that way. As we talk about the metaphysical and all that part of serial killers, the supernatural side. But as I burn my incense.
Yeah. Well,
But
according to this, his parents were Catholic. They preferred and offered help for him to get psychiatric treatment. They supported him in checking himself into a psychiatric hospital. There's no evidence that his parents actually practiced that belief system or
Yeah.
were abusive in any way. Okay, it's just him being, I don't know, whatever.
Just another delusion. It could be how he's trying to make sense of. But even if his parents did take part in that, if they did, and how he's explaining it, yeah, you're influenced by that. So I could see why that would make him, developing certain things in his life. But,
Yeah, don't try to stop me from what I believe. Also, it shows part of his paranoid schizophrenia, I think, because the paranoia of somebody coming along and trying to pull him away from his belief system,
It just takes, for paranoid schizophrenics, it just takes one little thing that is said to you that, let's just say you prefer. Somebody's talking to him about reincarnation, and all of a sudden something snaps in his head, and then he becomes obsessed with it, and then it gets away from him, and then he starts making stuff up of his learned abilities growing up. That's how he makes sense of it, and that's what puts him into that situation of that paranoia. Because you really look at it, earthquakes. What the anniversary of the big one was on his birthday. So that's going to get away from him because it has something to do with him, his birthday, earthquakes, all right? And then pollution, which is a big thing, of course, in California at the time and still is. So that's like, we're dying from pollution. So his moniker of death, and people saying, well, people are doing it. So people, pollution, death. So that's the way his mind's getting away from him if you really want to make sense of it. But that's just the thoughts of the psychology behind it and what probably made him tick and why he grasped onto those certain things because of the paranoia. But even with the reincarnation side of things, from what it sounds like, who knows what it was told to him, whether it be at church, whether he overheard his parents talking to somebody else, that he grasped onto it in a weird way. That's what happens with that type of psychosis, the paranoid schizophrenia disorder. So your PSD is what a lot of people refer to it. But he personified that, at a young age. Usually men really start showing in their early 20s. And that's when it really starts getting away from you if untreated properly. And I think that's what happened in this case. I don't think for him, I think it's a psychosis that developed maybe because of substance or learned behavior and all that. We don't know. We don't know how it comes about, whether it's passed down generation to generation. Is it a generational curse? Hey, it could be too. We don't know how it works through the DNA. Yeah. But can we get to the really crazy part? Is everybody ready? Is everybody still watching?
Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we all still watching out there to hear the crazy part? So I remember when Lee and I first talked and all that, and we had that mutual thing about Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer. And I remember us having conversations about him. The guy's 6'8" for crying out loud.
I know.
But the thing with Edmund Kemper was when he was institutionalized, just like this guy, was institutionalized at times. Oh, got to give kisses.
Hey,
So,
sweet.
yeah. So he spent time in the hospital to the point where he helped the psychologist there rewrite the questions to ask. So Edmund Kemper was very versed on the psychology of the human mind. He helped the BSU, like Wrestler and all them, come up with these things and interview him, as we saw, on Mindhunter and all that, the book that was written. So Edmund Kemper was very instrumental in all this. So, if anybody's going to know, it's going to be Edmund Kemper. He helped do these tests, so he knows. But the crazy thing is at the time, Kemper and Mullin are killing people out at the same time, and it was getting screwed up. So it was hard to catch either one of them, but both of them finally were caught. Of course, Kemper gave himself in. It was probably the only reason why he was caught. But they ended up in prison, in the same prison. They were right next to each other in the jail. All right. Now, Mullin had this thing. When people were watching TV, he would try and sing louder than the TV, just annoying everybody.
Oh goodness, yeah.
All right. So Kemper decided, I'm just going to throw water in this guy's face and just be intimidating, which of course he did. And that really kind of quelled his control over Mullin. And he would he would call him Herbie. And what he would do was if Herbie was being good, Kemper would give him some peanuts because Herbie really liked peanuts. So, you get to that behavioral modification and all that is what Kemper was pulling on him. He was controlling Mullin so he could basically, Kemper was being the adult and controlling and showing the learned behavior. So I'm going to push this behavior so I can get out of you.
Crap.
It came to the point where Mullin would ask Kemper, can I have permission to sing? Yes, you may sing.
Oh, wow.
And this is what was going on. We're talking about a guy Kemper, who knows so much about psychology, to a guy that supposedly is a paranoid schizophrenic and all that. Was he? Was he not? Kemper thinks it was a bunch of bullshit.
Well, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
That's why he
He's
was.
thinking the drugs helping him with that delusion.
Exactly. But Kemper did say that he disliked Mullin because he felt he killed for no reason.
He did.
And that was a big thing. And then with that, as Kemper was going through the things, knowing how to test people, helping doctors do the right tests. And you think about it, the guy was a psycho, but who better to know when somebody is actually on the up and up than one of the more brighter serial killers of all time who created these tests, and he could test him when they're jail cell to jail cell and know if this guy's full of shit or not. And he says he was. So that's crazy in itself right there.
That's interesting, though. Very, very interesting.
One of the things that they're talking about in some of the reports that I have been looking at about the trial, and the reason why he was found sane is because number one, he put I need to be institutionalized. So he went to a mental hospital, but he would be in for 8 weeks and he would get out. Now he would go to his follow-up visits, but he wouldn't take his medicine. He would not take his medicine. And he said, no, I'm crazy. I think he was looking for an excuse to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other people did also. And because of his birthday alignment, that was just the first thing that popped into his head about the earthquake killings. Oh, I'm crazy. It's earthquake killings. No, that's just, you just wanted to kill people. Let's call it what it is. And that's what everybody said. And that's what everybody believed. And that's why he was tried the way he was.
But you're right.
Edmund's the same way.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're not crazy.
No, he felt they were kindred spirits in that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Also, but what you're saying really is the setup.
Yeah.
If you know you want to kill people and you have this plan, what better thing to do is set yourself up to look crazy? People do it all the time. I used to work this job, and this guy, when he would call out sick, you knew a week in advance he was going to call out sick because he'd start setting it up. He wasn't really sick. He just wanted to go do something. And so he would set it up. So he'd start, I start to feel this and that. And then you knew, like, okay, tomorrow after his setup, he was going to call out, and he did. People do that.
Oh, yeah, they do it.
They'll set you up to get what they want or to be able to do what they want. So they'll start throwing little clues at you so they could fall back on it. There's stuff going on nowadays. Even in our industry, people do things to set it up. So if something doesn't go right, they could say, hey, this is why this happened. So they could point at that instead of just taking responsibility that, we're not always going to be successful. We have to accept a failure and learn from it as opposed to, setting yourself up if you're gonna kill, and you're trying to set that up, and I tell you that's crazy in itself if that's what he was actually doing.
So I've applied to get a psychiatric evaluation. I needed access. I wanted the access guide. I wanted to see all of that.
Mhm.
And so I've applied for that. So when it comes in, I'd like to revisit this.
Yeah.
If it comes in, I guess I should say. But he is deceased now, so
Yeah.
maybe it will. But I have been looking at some of the things that he did to himself, and he would harm himself a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things he did was put a burning cigarette. He would put the cigarette out on his penis
Yeah.
regularly. He cut himself. He at one point was slamming body parts into the car door. Things like I don't know how he went from that to killing other people.
Yeah. Well, it's a normal, not normal to us as we look at it, but somebody that's schizophrenic. And again, when things start getting out of control and you have no control, what's up, Father Torres? And when things get out of control, right?
Yeah.
Some people, even younger kids and all that, they feel like they have no control over, and the only way to control it, to relieve that pressure of the chaos, they'll cut themselves or they'll harm themselves or they'll do anything like that. And I think in this case, if he's checked himself in 5 times in a hospital, he's looking for help and he's trying to make the pain go away. And he's trying to open himself up by cutting or trying to pain and hit himself on the door. That's
He banged
normal
his head into
behavior
the
for
wall.
that
Wow.
psychosis in a way. But again, if we're talking about him setting it up, that's a pretty crazy way to set it up. I guess you would have to know more about the disease or that mental health problem to be able to set it up.
Yeah.
Was he a paranoid schizophrenic? Could be, or he could have been taking his medication and didn't say he was, just to use it as an excuse. I don't know. We don't know because the guy's dead now, but we could speculate and feel. But yeah, no matter what you have going on, mental health, anything like that, a murder is a murder. It's just disgusting, no matter what way you look at it.
Did I look at this right on ages? I'm sorry, Lee, but did he kill children too? Did I read that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no age.
When he went in to kill the family members, there were 2 families together. He killed the children too.
Yeah. Yep.
He didn't care, man, woman, boy, girl. He didn't care.
Yeah. They're all ages. Yep.
This is what he did to himself. He extinguished lit cigarettes on his genitals, occasionally with his arms and chest. He told the doctors voices made him do it. He banged his head and he would strike himself against the hard objects, saying stop the thoughts. But that's what he also did that with the car door. He would starve himself and said that the food would pollute his body and block divine messages. He would cut and scratch himself. He'd use his fingernails, sharp objects, make sharp, things, cut his body. And then he would force himself to stay awake and he would isolate himself. So all of these are from basically a forensic analysis, a report of some of the mental things that he did.
Right.
And in 1969, when he went into the hospital, he was there for 8 weeks. When he came out, there was a grave diagnosis for him that he would not be getting better.
Yeah.
And but then, of course, he didn't take his medicine, and nobody pushed him to take his medicine, and his health just deteriorated. So.
Yeah. But this is where it gets crazy.
I think it's
know,
like a box, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But let's look at it this way. We kept talking about his reincarnation, the metaphysical side of things, or that he might have had thoughts that he was psychic. All these things that we're rolling into this. This is what we get down to the nitty gritty of this guy. He was called the earthquake killer or whatever. Now, all these murders he was doing to prevent these earthquakes from happening, and that was his psychosis. But do you know what happened when he got arrested a few days later? He got arrested. He's not able to kill now. He's in jail. 8 days after he was arrested, a 5.8 earthquake hit California, causing major devastation.
I did read that, and I was like, uh-oh. That just fed
Yeah.
into his
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
But it did. But did he know? Was he right all along? That's where the weird paranormal side comes in. It was something speaking to him to do this on the evil side of it and made this come to fruition after he was caught, knowing that he had no more power to be able to hold back the earthquake, whether it had been the good side or the positive side. That battle, the same thing with the guy we talked about last week, that battle of the black magic. If I do this, then of the number 72, then I will reach my highest peak. If I keep killing, then I will save people from this devastating earthquake. So that's what goes to these people's minds.
Since the 1700s, we as a country we have been at war. There has been war of some sort going on. I think there's only just a very short period of time of Revolutionary War. Then there was the peace time between 1783 and 98. And then after that, it was the Quasi-War with France, the War of 1812, Indian Wars, the Mexican-American Wars, and then it just keeps going and going. I mean, we go into World War I, World War II, Civil War, Spanish-American War, the Philippine-American War. There's an interwar period. There's just it just keeps going. The global war, the Persian Gulf War, the Cold War. Wow.
It's a representation of us, our humanity. Humanity's repeating what happened spiritually.
I know.
There's always spiritual battle going on. Good, bad, yin, yang, God, devil, whatever you want to call it. It's going on from beginning of whenever we realized we were people. It's always going on, and I think that influences into our humanity over the spirituality and that side of things, where there's always some kind of war going on somewhere. It's a representation of us and what we battle on a daily basis with our spirituality and our mentality, just with this guy.
Matthew, my husband just chimed in and said, out of 250 years, we have been at peace as a country for 19.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we didn't need his help.
But really, you think about it, 19 years of what kind of peace? There's always something going on. Yeah. We've had our spiritual battle, especially during like the book you wrote, the Victorian times. There's that spiritual battle, the mentality of what we deal with. What are we battling? Sometimes the war is against disease. We're battling an influenza epidemic. That's the enemy, and us trying to do that. The yellow fever. The reason why a lot of the things happen that you wrote about in your book, Lee, with the ghost hunting in the Victorian, what they did. A lot of that stems from anytime there's a lot of death, people want answers in the paranormal. Or somebody like Herbert Mullin, the Vietnam War is going on and all these deaths are happening, and his psychosis of earthquakes, there's devastation, a lot of death. A lot of these weird things or these visions happen when a lot of death happens. And that's really, even you look at us now, the paranormal, all the shows started coming on after 9/11. We were looking for answers. And these people jumped on it to show us, potentially what those answers are. So that's kind of, I don't know what she's saying. I can't see that.
It says some psychics can detect weather, and I'm wondering if one of I think she meant killings, maybe. I'm not sure healing, but anyway, was around an earthquake, and he just put both of them together. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you really pulling apart the mind. Yeah. Yeah.
She's right.
Mm-hmm.
He lived a mile away from us, and we drive by his house almost every day, Father Taurus. Lord.
Wow.
Lord.
Yeah.
Please pray over that area because we don't want any funkiness,
not anymore.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, because this guy, this was wild, and it meets all the criteria for Spooktober. Just
Oh, yes.
yeah, we have everything. We have that paranormal side, the metaphysical, the mental, the spiritual, you name it. That human side of thing. Why do we do these things that we do, and why do these people do what they do? That's why we have this show. We're sitting there dumbfounded, even though we do have some of the facts. But it's you get the facts, and then you look into even more, jumping down the rabbit hole. Why did they do this? And we always question that. And I think that's why they intertwine with the serial killer mind and the paranormal. Is we always look at it going down the road. Why did this happen? Why does that happen? We're never going to be able to prove it. But it creates great conversation.
Father Torres documentary on Netflix. We have people who still worship the sites and his work.
Oh, Lord.
See, I think a lot of it is because when he was arrested and the earthquake happened, while some of these other people are going to say, well, he was right. So, instead of looking into it a little bit further and discerning a little bit more about the guy before you start worshiping him, those false gods, my friends,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
false gods, you got to be careful. Yeah.
So he was cremated. No family members claimed him publicly. There's no memorial, no ceremony, no inmate ceremony. Nobody cared. Nobody missed him. I'm just going to say it.
Well, I'm wondering it has a crazy, weird thing. This is my crazy dad weird joke. That's kind of morbid. Did they take his ashes and sprinkle them on the San Andreas Fault?
Oh. Oh, Tom, don't open that can of worms.
Would have been a good place for him, huh?
Maybe we should have kept his ashes and sprinkled those around,
Yeah.
Have an earthquake, throw some of that stuff out there,
Yeah, I know, huh?
Oh, goodness.
God, we're all going to just go right on to hell. So, but that's
in a handbasket. Yep, in the handbasket.
All right, so you guys, you want to tell them what next week? It's coming to time. Do you want to tell them what's up next week?
Oh, yeah. Everybody has to tune in next week because this is the one that's going to be the most bizarre thing you're ever going to hear. And we're going to have a lot of information, and you're going to start second guessing some of your favorite famous people next week. What we're going to be doing is it's conspiracy theory serial killers, where there's talk that Garth Brooks is a serial killer. Bob Ross, the painter, was a serial killer. Benjamin Franklin was a serial killer. We're going to talk about all this next week and let you decide, are they or aren't they? We're going to have some fun with that one. So make sure you tune in for that. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys could chime in and we'll get it going and turn it into a nice little conspiracy theory hour and have a lot of fun with that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a bit about the Salem Con. I want to know more.
Yes.
Well, we added a couple more things. We're going to have, of course, we have live music, Dystopica. That's a pretty well-known band in the area. They got over 64,000 followers, so that's going to be fun. We also just penned in the Salem Witch Dancers, so they're going to be dancing. Yeah, so those guys are going to be there. Just all you guys. Lee's going to be there. Gwen's going to be there. A lot of people that chimed in are going to be there. Raven's going to be there. Of course, her show's coming on at 9:30 after we come off on the same network here, All Access Network TV. Stacia Wills is going to be there. Of course, she chimed in. So
yes, she is.
It's almost like I think she goes, I go, or I go, she goes, and it's fun because that's Wardruna.
Me and Lee. It's not you.
That's Wardruna. Yeah, you guys are with us too. So, but a lot of people are going to be there. A lot of your favorites. One of them, James Stokes, who plays the character Jason Voorhees and all that. He was on Stranger Things. It's going to be on at the end of this month, and that episode is going to be corresponding with real serial killers and their influence on movie serial killers. And of course, Jason Voorhees, one of the most well-known movie serial killers of all time.
And we're gonna
he'll be
eat
joining us.
cereal, Gwen.
Yes, we're gonna eat.
cereal.
Yeah,
I don't
we're
know
gonna have
about
cereal
some
at
of
the
it,
same
but
time. Yep. Well, if we're gonna be eating cereal, I want to have Count Chocula. Can I have Count Chocula?
Oh yes.
While we talk
I get
about serial
You gonna
killers.
drink the
blueberry.
chocolate
Yeah.
milk afterwards?
Hey, they've
Yeah.
got Gwen.
Yeah.
They've got Wednesday cereal.
Girl, that was what I was gonna
Yeah.
get, of course. 'cause
Yeah.
That's yours. That's
that
yours.
y'all don't know it. I'm a huge Wednesday
Yeah.
fan.
Big
Yep.
It's
time.
not the new ones. It's all of it, not just
It's
the old.
been
Not just the-
for
That's-
years.
Yep.
That is freaking awesome. That's gonna be good. Yeah, we should all eat cereal while we're talking about it. So that'll be good.
Yes, we're gonna eat cereal. I want one of
Yeah.
those bowls that's got the straw so you could drink the milk after.
You can
Oh,
do
I gotta
the
have the crazy
colorful.
straw with the little. Yeah, we gotta have the crazy straw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I'm flashing back to youth here right now. So, can I redo a few things before I come back to reality?
Can I?
Oh man,
Can
let's do. I got a
But-
couple of things on that list.
Yeah, there you go.
So talking about that, I got a message that Pizza Hut is having a day where they go back to the 80s and all the prices, for like personal pan pizza, $2.99 and $5.90, all that stuff.
Oh my God.
They're going to do it one day. And I was like, gosh, Matt, are we going to do that? He was like, oh yeah, we're going to do that. And they need to
Nice.
bring back the little video games that they had in there and the jukebox and all that.
Oh yeah, little Pac-Man, going to play
Oh,
some
yeah.
Pac-Man and asteroids
miss
and stuff like
Pac-Man.
that. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, he had a couple that he remembered, and I remember the jukebox. Did I
Ooh,
do that?
Yes, you
When
did.
did I? I
We
saw
went yellow and purple.
My
That was
hands-
cool.
That
I
was
like the
me,
yellow and
sorry.
purple. That was neat. So,
All right, so I was trying to get this done before the show, and I'm going to play it now, if you don't mind, Gwen, because it's what we were just talking about. And I hit the button twice, and I didn't put the picture on the last slide, so I'll fix it up. I was
Be nice
screwed with it.
Some of them that I like, please.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, well you got to send me the one you like, and I'm going to take off the Mullins part, so we'll have it, so we can play it and advertise it for
Nice.
the month. Is that all right, Gwen? You like it?
Yeah, it's good. I'm sorry, y'all. My headphones. I've had to reset my computer 3 times since I got home a week ago, and my good headphones, they won't work with.
yeah. That's all right.
So I'm stuck with the
We'll figure it
not
out.
so great ones. But yeah, it's.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
I probably am doing
gotta-
it. Yes, Matt. I hear you talking in my head saying, "It's you. It's you." Her husband thinks I control
Yeah.
all things electric.
He does. He does. He's
I
convinced
do.
of that.
Well, you
Okay,
guys.
everybody, share this video out.
Yeah.
Share it out.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
beginning.
tonight because I need to go to Raven, her first show. I love you guys. I love everybody watching.
love
Thank
you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop out. These guys are gonna close it out, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Can you believe I forgot to put her picture on that last slide? That's
Uh-huh.
not like me. That's not
Uh-huh.
me at all. Oh, look who came to see you.
Oh, which
Yeah.
one? Oh, there you are. Hi, Luna.
I've had my
Luna,
head-
Luna, I'm in a different state now. So did you figure that one out?
I think she did.
Yeah. So.
You want to go see Tom?
Yeah, you guys got to come out. So that would be great. So
We're coming. We're coming.
bring the, yeah, that'll be good. And yeah, I'm excited for Salem Paracon. We got a lot of things going on out here in Ohio. Stacia, myself, and Kenneth Drake are going to be doing an event out here in the Cleveland area near the end of October. So make sure everybody catches those advertisements and all that.
Oh gosh, I saw that. I need to download those so we can put them out here.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And there's so much going on. I forget. I got to look at my calendar.
Yeah,
I'm
you've got a lot to do.
discombobulated. It's been a whirlwind the last few days. Just trying to get things going. Again, I have nothing to sit on right now except the bed. So I, they held me off until Wednesday for the furniture. I'm like, oh, I'm going stir crazy. But
You're
the
gonna have it
one good
like one.
thing, and the one good thing, and the inside joke is funny. When I got this mattress, the sales guy says to us, "It's it's uh it's the top of the line," and I'm like, "Well, I like top of the line. I think I really need that after sleeping on some pretty crazy things over the last couple of years." And yeah, I think the top of the line mattress fits, and I'm really enjoying it right now. So
Good. You deserve that.
yeah, so the back's feeling better.
That's
And
good.
starting to lose a few pounds, getting my
Heck yeah.
stress levels down, and you might see a thinner shaman at the Salem Paracon, because we all have to be ready to go, because after Salem Paracon that night we're doing the investigation at the Satanic Temple, which was a former funeral home and it's slash library now too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody's going to be joining us. A lot of the people in the field are going to be there, and it's going to be fun to see how everybody interacts with each other and comes together in a paranormal community and just learns from each other. That's going to be kind of exciting.
By the way, happy Indigenous Day. And
Yes.
also, I'm just really happy and thankful that the tribe that I'm a member of has become recognized by the state as an official tribe. We're no longer what they would call a group. So we've known we're a tribe, but just
Yeah.
took everybody a minute to figure it out. But here we are, we're doing well. And
Nice.
when you guys think about, Indigenous month and happy Indigenous Day, be sure to think about what that culture has brought to you, and the other cultures that are part of your makeup, part of your family. Your ancestors talk to you through your DNA. It's true, it's there.
Yeah.
And so think about who you are and what do you stand for.
Yeah. The a running river is like time. You can't go back. It is what it is.
Yep.
You can't repeat anything. That's like your blood.
Mhm.
Your blood flows through your body and it never flows the same way again. So it's always pumping something different. That's your DNA going through you too. Just your ancestors. They're always coming by, and they're always there, and it's yeah, can't repeat it again, but they're
Can't
they're
repeat
there
it.
for you at all times, just learning. So it's
Well,
nice.
as we talk about these serial killers and the things that
Mhm.
we do, always remember, those of you that are watching us, pass the word around about what we're discussing, because we're not just talking about what they did. We're talking about who they did it to and why.
Yeah,
And we talk a bit about, the victims too. We're not trying to glorify anything negative. What we're working on is education.
yeah,
Tom, you said it really well the last several times we've had the show, and I just wanted to chime in there and say the same thing you've been saying, because a lot of people have learned a lot of things,
yeah.
and it saved a lot of people. There was a lady that messaged me, and she said she was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and she was out by the I guess it was by a lake. It was a city area, and so there's like a body of water. She said she was walking by the water, and she saw someone, and the look in their eye,
Hmm.
and she said that she just knew something was coming, and he came around behind her, and instead of running or just letting it happen, she turned around and took one strong look at him, and he backed up and ran away. She said she believes that her awareness has kept her from being mugged that
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
And she said that she's been following us. So I want you to know, Susan, thank you for reaching out to me. I've told Tom, I've told the other people that are part of our all access network, true crime serial killer groups. Pass this word around, pass the shows around, because we're talking about not just what they did, but why.
yeah,
Tom gives every bit of his effort into explaining why these people did what they did and what we can do as a community to help these people. Personally, I think with the guy we just talked about, Robert Mullin, I think that if our mental health support. I mean, I
Mhm.
know this happened in the late 60s, early 70s, but our mental health awareness and support, even today, it's just not there.
No, they're just as overwhelmed.
Yeah.
When people get overwhelmed, things get missed. We just need more people that are diligent. It's not just the mental health workers, it's just us as a community, as a society.
Yeah.
Even the other day, Stacia saw a woman wandering around Walmart. She looked lost and think she might have had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But she didn't step in and let the police officer know that was there. Who knows what could have happened? There's those things. Just be there for your own. Just the human nature. Just be there for people. It doesn't takes 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, just to help somebody. There's been times where you go by somebody just in a store, and they look down, and you just look at them and you just smile and say, "How you doing today?" And if it wasn't for that, that person probably was thinking of committing suicide. But you recognized them, you said hi to them when nobody else was, and you gave them that little bit of light to keep going on. So that's what we have to do for each other, because you never know who you're dealing with. You don't know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I just read this. I wish I could find the article, but I'm not going to be able to at this second. There was a man that saw a woman's car running, and he needed a ride, and he was, he was going to steal her car. Okay.
Mhm.
And he got in the car, car's running, and he pulled off. He stopped and turned around and came back, took the baby out of the back seat in the carrier, went
Mm.
into the apartment complex, got somebody on the phone, and you can see him on video. He's telling that mother, "Don't leave your car abandoned with the keys in it with your baby in the car." He
Mhm.
brought it. He basically was like, "Okay, I'll go to jail for stealing a car, but I'm not taking a kid."
Yeah,
And I thought, God, even he has more sense than this mother leaving this child in the car.
exactly.
So, I thought, yeah, he's a robber, but he didn't kidnap a child. He didn't hurt a
Yeah.
child, and he had more sense than the mother. And that's just
It,
the way I
it
feel.
You're right. There's some people, their sense, their morality is, yeah, I'll steal, but I'm not going to kidnap, kill, or these other crimes. So they're specific in their crime or whatever. Yeah, it just still shows this guy has the ability to be able to get on a better path on. So
That's crazy.
yeah, it is.
Well, I guess that's about it for tonight.
Yeah, we got to be
Okay.
ready for next week. We got to get all our conspiracies together. Anybody out there knows one, make sure you let us know to the show, and we'll
No, it's
talk
going to
about
be
it
great.
next. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I can't wait. Because I'm a huge Garth Brooks fan, and I can't wait to look into that a little bit more. But the Bob Ross one is hilarious, and
It is.
yeah,
And James Stokes is a great guy. I
yep,
was with him at a paranormal conference in Alabama. He's a lot of fun to work with. He's going to be at the Salem Con that you're hosting.
yep,
And so he's going to be great on the show. He's been on a lot of podcasts. He's very popular.
good, yep,
And so I think he's going to have some fun things to say too.
yeah.
You have any more thoughts before we go?
Well, just like I said, just be aware of what's going on around you. Remember what you've learned as watching this show, and even if you liked what you heard today, go back and watch some of the old ones. Just look at the pattern as we talk, and this may help you survive. Be a survivor. Don't be a
Yes.
victim. Be a
Don't be a victim.
survivor. Don't be a victim. And that's what I always say. Be aware. Use your due diligence, and figure out if something's not right. If it doesn't feel right, then move out of the way. Go wherever you have to. Get whoever you have to.
Well, the thing is, the way I see it, the way that I see it is that it doesn't hurt you to be aware. You think
Hmm.
you're losing your innocence, you're losing some of your naivety, but no, what you're doing is you're making yourself more aware.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And by doing that, you could be saving your own life. You could be teaching someone something that they need to know. You know, we've talked about serial killers who had children and they
Yeah.
raised their children to not be a victim of the kind of people they were.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what you're doing. You're educating yourself and you're educating your family. Life's
Exactly.
getting easier, guys.
Yeah. Crazy world out there. And I want you all to make sure that you're still enjoying the world. So make
That's
sure you
right.
do it.
All right, so I'm going to play this about Salem Con one more time,
Nice.
and then we'll be closing out. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, Tom, you'll have to tell Gwen I got it fixed, okay? Here we go.
That's awesome.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see you next Monday.